say you are financially aware, like aware of what's actually going on in most, maybe all facets of your financial life. There may be questions about your personal finances that you probably couldn't answer if asked. We're going to talk a bit about financial awareness today. And our guest is Jackie Porter. She is a certified financial planner, founder of Team Jackie Porter, and she's with IA Private Wealth. Hello there.
Hello, Bruce. It's such a long time. So good to see you.
Great to see you too. We talk a lot about financial literacy, which is a thing, but I want to focus our conversation today on financial awareness. And it feels very Cosmo quiz circa 1990 here that we're going to like do your awareness. What would you say, though, it means to be financially aware?
To be financially aware in 2026 really means that you have a handle on how your cash flows. And I think what I see with especially people who do well, high earning women, I see, for example, is we tend to think we can just throw money at the problem because we have a good income.
Right.
So I think the awareness is, what's my net worth? What do I have coming in? What's going out? How much debt am I in? How much interest am I paying? There's so many people who never open their credit card statements, or they just go right to what it costs because that's more comfortable. Who wants to read that fine print? You
Yeah.
really need to read the fine print. Okay.
Yeah. I think
So
it's fair to say that so many people have their hands over their ears. They've shut their eyes and they're like, la, 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 I'm not listening. I'm not listening. And even as you say, people who are high income earners. Why would you say this awareness is important?
Well, I think it's important because it's all about two things: risk management, especially in this environment that we're in, and optionality. These are the two things I talk in particular with high earning women about. Risk management is, how many months could I go without getting another like paycheck coming in?
Right.
Right. So if, and again, you won't know that unless you know how much comes in, how much goes out, how much you earn, how much you need to live. You're not going to know how many months that's going to take. So if all of a sudden you lose your job, or a huge bill comes out of nowhere that's going to eat up all of your savings, how are you going to survive? Like, where will the money come from? How will you pay for things? Like, what facilities do you have in place? Do you have like a backup line of credit? Do you have an emergency fund? All of these things, if you're not aware, if you don't actually understand how your cash flows, I really love that. Like, how does your cash actually flow? Then it's really challenging to deal with these types of scenarios. And the other piece is, what if you get sick? I always say to people, getting a illness, a critical illness, being off work because of a disability, it's something nobody ever wants to think about. It's a blind spot, and blind spots are those things that you don't think about until something happens. And guess what? Then it's all you think about.
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden, there's all this money you have to come up with to pay for things. But do you actually have the capacity, the financial wherewithal to pay for things that might be out of what will be covered by your healthcare plans?
The second aspect that you talked about, and I love this word, optionality. Say
Yes.
more about that. What does that mean?
So we talked about risk and we talked about bad things happening. Optionality is, these are the things I talk to clients about, especially in this environment. So we were talking a little bit about losing your job, but there's also that scenario that we're in now where you haven't lost your job yet, but you could be proactive about it and think, well, am I in a really, like, I talk to executives all the time. They're like at the top of their pay grade and they're going to get like packaged out because they're just getting too expensive. And so we have these conversations, right? So let's design a financial plan that you can work because you want to. It's optional, right? So, they're like in that 55, age 55 range. And they're like, I think before I'm 60, I'll get packaged up. So why don't we do a plan for like when I'm 57 that I have a work optional scenario? And you know what's so funny, Bruce? One of those clients got booted out at 56 just this year, and we were ready. We were ready.
Right. You were ready. Okay.
Right.
You
So
use
now he's
the
doing
sentence you're
podcasts and
using
blogs.
here. The sentence you're using that I love is to understand how your cash flows. And if we take that metaphor and think about a river, what's the ideal type of river that we're talking about here? Because I think I can kind of picture like a slow Thames River where the barge is gliding along in the pastoral sunshine. And a lot of people's experience of this would be whitewater rafting
That's
down the
exactly what I was going to
Colorado River.
That's exactly
Perils
what
at rocks at every turn.
that's exactly it. And you don't know how to navigate that. So you're on this raft. That's me. You've just described me on the white rider raft going, please don't make me fall off. I don't have a plan. What if I fall off this raft? And that's kind of sadly how lots of people manage their finances. They're like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. I don't get sick. I don't have a scenario where a big bill comes out of nowhere, because as long as everything's just going fine on the river, it's fine. But you never know, just like on a river, when you're going to hit like a huge like what's it called, like those bubbling brooks where you're not ready to be able to paddle through that. And having that clarity in your finances gives you that opportunity to paddle through.
The other awareness area you talked about, which is a connected but different view, is net worth. So if the cash flow is the income statement, the net worth is the balance sheet. Talk about why that snapshot's important.
So that understanding of the net worth statement is what you want to understand, right? So again, going back to optionality, I love that millionaires actually look at their net worth as, every year they want to grow their net worth. So somebody who is trying to have their money work harder should also look at, is my net worth growing? Is it shrinking? Is it staying the same? But then the other pieces that millionaires do that I think we can all learn from is, how do we every year look at our net worth to see how long, based on how much assets we have, we could actually stop working. Just kind of going back to optionality. I deal with a lot with lawyers, and a lot of them are really stressed, and they're like, geez, I'd love to even take a year off just to kind of do things for me. Do I have a plan that can we create a plan that allow me to do that? And here's a really cool thing, Bruce, is I think of this one lawyer at the top of her game, making almost $1 million a year, but has no life. We used to have 7:30 in the morning meetings, and we created a plan for her in 2023. Sorry, not in 2023. My apologies. That's what she came back in 2019. That allowed her to, or 2018, that allowed her to take off pretty much all of 2019 up to February of 2020. Wow. So she took that time off. We created this plan because she knew she still had many more years to work, but she wanted to know, if I took a year off, would it hurt my overall financial circumstances to retire, whatever? And could I afford to do it? Do I have enough cash flow to do it? And we did it. And we did it just before the pandemic, right? So that was like giving her that opportunity to leverage her assets, leverage the money she had just saved, collecting dust in her account. We invested it over those between 2017 and 2019. We created this opportunity for her to save the money, for her to take travel. She went all around the world, places I haven't been yet. Wow. And was able to do it. Now she's kind of jumped back into her career. She's energized. And so that's the kind of things optionality can buy you. It can buy you that independence, that financial independence, that sleep at night, where you can say, you know what, I can retire by, based on what I have. I'm 5 years away from retirement. I have enough to retire 5 years from now. Or based on this optionality, I can actually take a year off and still be fine. I want to have that versus just more stuff.
If I could snap my fingers and provide a gift to every single Canadian, one of the gifts I would provide would be an actual financial plan, one that includes all the variables and assumptions around longevity and all those sorts of things. So people can look at, on the day of my death, whenever it may be, what's left? Is there anything left? Because it's such a clarifying exercise based on, a whole bunch of assumptions that you will never know the answer to. That's really powerful. Talk a bit about that awareness of that number based on those assumptions and the benefit that provides to your clients.
We do this scenario in the financial plan where we pretend it's the year of someone's death. Yeah. And we do it like we can do it in any given year, and we file their taxes that year for them to actually see what that's going to look like. And for most people, they have no idea what that process is like. People don't know that when they pass away, if they don't have a spouse or a financially dependent child to leave their finances to, all of their assets, in particular their RSP assets, are 100% taxable in the year of death. So if people don't understand what I mean by that, it's like if I had $1 million left in my RSP, it's like I earned that for that
Yeah.
year. So I got to pay taxes on all of that. So you can't take it all with you, first of all. So what do you want to do? Do you want to create a plan that allows you to take more of that money and live it, use it, and spend it, and have more fun with it? Because that's some of the things I talk about. Do you want to figure out a way to give your kids more, maybe using some kind of an insurance product? Do you want to give some money away to charity, considering you can't keep it all? But it's having those conversations with people so that they have clarity around use of money on death. Because the entire course of our lives, we're using our money and hopefully optimizing it. That
Mm.
shouldn't stop just because we pass away. How do we make the best use of our money when we pass away so that the people who we want to get access to it has it, and we don't just by default give the government more?
It's great. Jackie, I love your passion. I love your insight on this question. Thank you for making time for us.
So it's such a pleasure. Please have me back. I feel like we just started this conversation.
I know. Jackie Porter, founder of Team Jackie Porter. She's with IA Private Wealth, and she was here to talk about financial awareness, which is, of course, in the world of financial literacy, but a little bit more focused on the things you should know about your financial situation, how your cash flow flows, and, of course, your net worth that we talked about too.